If brisket is the king of barbecue, that means pastrami is the god of barbecue. It's carefully cured for 7 days for unrivaled juiciness and flavor, and the result is a pink-colored brisket that blows every other type of meat out of the water. But what happens when we turn every other type of meat into corned beef? And why is this chicken green? Let's find out. This right here is a fresh brisket, and the first step in turning this into corned beef or pastrami is to brine it. And this right here is a brined brisket. To turn this into pastrami, we need to smoke it. Corned beef, we need to boil it. So that's what we're gonna do. And what we have here is two sides of the exact same brisket and a perfect way to visually see the difference between corned beef and pastrami. The flat here was brined for 7 days and then simmered until tender, whereas the point side over here was also cured for 7 days, then smoked low and slow. And I'll start by slicing into the boiled corned beef. And it is just insanely juicy, especially because we brined it. And you'll also notice that consistent pink color all throughout, and that's due to the curing salt. Next, we'll slice into that pastrami. Once again, it is just insanely juicy with that pink color, but the key difference is all that smoke flavor we've developed, along with that thick and flavorful bark that is all flavor. So over here, we have our corned beef, whereas this is the pastrami. Two very similar preparations, but for today's video, we're gonna be focusing more on the pastrami, just because nothing beats that smoky flavor, and I just like it better. And taking it one step further, we have what may just be the greatest sandwich of all time, the Reuben. Rye bread, tons of that delicious pastrami, sauerkraut, Swiss. This is heaven in sandwich form. And today, not only are we turning multiple types of meat into pastrami, but we're also gonna use them to try and make a sandwich that rivals this guy right here. Time to see how those other types of meat stack up. But in the meantime, banging. First up, we have pork belly. Now, pastrami is very similar to bacon, so I have a feeling this one is gonna be incredible. Next up, we have picanha, one of the all-time greatest steaks. I've never really cooked pastrami to medium rare, so this one's more of a question mark. Next up, we have eye round, which is a very tough cut, and we're actually gonna turn this one into pastrami beef jerky. We have a basic chicken that's gonna end up being not so basic very soon. And last but not least, an absolutely gorgeous, whole, sashimi-grade salmon. This one should be fun. Ugh. As I've mentioned, one of the pieces of meat that we are hopefully gonna turn into pastrami is this beautiful picanha here. But before we put it into that brine, I think we need to ask permission to the picanha king himself, Guga, and make sure that this is okay.
Yo, what's up, my brother Max?
What's up, Guga? How you doing?
Working hard like always.
Quick question. As you can see in front of me, I have this beautiful picanha. I need to ask your permission for something. It's very important. It's a one-time thing only.
The fact that you're asking me for permission already, this is not going very well, Max. I'm gonna be honest with you.
One time only. Are you okay with me brining this and turning it into corned beef?
Whoa, what are you doing? Who the hell does a picanha corn? Are you crazy, Max? Bro, that's why they use a brisket.
I'm not gonna do it, okay? Don't worry, I'm not gonna do it. I respect you, I respect the picanha. I'm sorry I asked.
Respect the picanha. Treat it like the queen that she is.
We're still friends, right?
Well, for now, yes. If I see a video of that turning into a pastrami, lose my number.
Please, under no circumstances, tag Guga in the comments of this video. I cannot afford to lose him as a friend. He's a big inspiration of mine. But that doesn't change the fact that unfortunately, we are turning this into pastrami. And it is time to make our brine. Now, the term dry brine is something we've commonly used on this channel. That's when we salt our steak prior to cooking. But this is slightly different in that we are using a wet brine, meaning our meat will be sitting in this salty and flavorful liquid. And at its most basic level, we'll need the salt and the sugar. Next, we'll add our pink curing salt. This is gonna give the meat that distinctive pink color, as well as that cured taste. And now it's all about flavor. We'll add our chili flakes, mace, cloves, bay leaves. Still not convinced those things do anything. Black peppercorns, allspice, mustard seeds, and finally, coriander.
You forgot the cinnamon stick.
Oh, cinnamon stick. And mix extremely well. And next up, it is time for the chicken. Throw that in there. Now, here's the thing. Even though you are probably watching this in April or beyond, today is actually St. Patrick's Day. And if there's one thing that makes St. Patrick's Day, it's the color green. And in the interest of holiday spirit, we got our green food coloring. We're gonna add basically a whole bottle. We'll just give it a good mix and see what happens. And in with the pork belly, these giant marinating bags, which will be perfect. Next up, we'll do that picanha. as well as our eye round in the same bag. They're both beef, so I guess that means cross-contamination doesn't count. We'll find out. Now, getting this salmon brined is gonna be a bit of a situation, but we do have a giant bag here, and we'll see if it fits. Oh, she's thick. Get in there. Oh yeah. Whew. And in with the brine. Our fish is completely submerged in the brine into the fridge. Time to let all that meat brine for 7 days. In the meantime, I'm going to sleep.
Beef jerky. Jerky beef.
Yeah, beef jerky. Hi guys, welcome to Max's Dream. I'm just here to remind you guys that the best way to support our channel is through Max Jerky. We have tons of brand new flavors, also our signature line as well. Definitely check it out. We also have a special discount code for this video only. It's 30% off if you watch within the first month of me posting this video. It'll be linked down below, so definitely check it out. But I think our 7 days are up. Whew, well, that was a great dream. I think that pastrami's ready. All right, the time is finally up. And all our meat is cured. And first up, we got that pork belly. Next up, our beautiful picanha. Once again, Guga, I hope you're not watching. Next, the eye of round jerky meat, our greenish blue St. Patrick's Day chicken, and what I am by far most excited about, our 15-pound whole salmon. We have waited 7 long days and this stuff looks absolutely crazy. The one similarity is there is a bit of a pink hue that comes with the pink curing salt, specifically on these 3 here. After the long soak on this picanha, you can see how that color's really lightened up. And even on the fat side, we have a light pink color, and I'm very interested to see if that cure was able to penetrate all that fat. Moving down here, obviously, this chicken is looking completely outrageous. It's almost more blue than green at this point, but definitely has that St. Patrick's Day feel. And it's kind of cool how obviously the outside is that green color, but moving the skin over, looks like the meat itself has completely changed as well. And last but not least, our beautiful whole salmon. It's definitely a bit more firm. I just really hope this is edible because this is a gorgeous fish. And with that, it's time to season. Because all the meat's already been salted, our pastrami seasoning is completely salt-free. And this is a pretty basic one here, heavy on the coriander and black pepper for beautiful color and flavor. Now we'll completely coat the meat, starting with our pork belly, getting both sides. Next, the picanha. I'm actually gonna score the skin a little bit just to start. Just gonna help that fat render and get the seasoning nice and deep. Hit the fat cap, as well as the meat side. For the cured eye round, I'm actually gonna take some slices for jerky. Wow, you can really see how that cure has penetrated all the way through. Cutting these to about 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch thick. We'll get our jerky slices into a bowl. And because this has already been fully salted, I'm just finishing it with our salt-free rub. No need to add soy sauce or any salty ingredients. You know, now that I think about it, I am gonna add a little bit of honey just to counteract some of that saltiness. Just like a tablespoon or so. And just like that, our marinated jerky is done. It is now time to season up our absolutely wild-looking chicken. I have to say, I've never seen a chicken that looks like this. The contrast of that blue and kind of orange seasoning is pretty nuts. Now let's tackle that salmon. Start with a slice right here, down to the vertebrae. Now we'll just follow with our knife, following that backbone until it comes all the way off. Wow, so this looks absolutely stunning. It's interesting how it hasn't turned fully red like some of the other cuts, but it's just a deep orange color. The texture is maybe a little bit more firm than normal, but it smells pretty fresh. This looks incredible. I mean, talk about an absolutely stunning piece of salmon here. That marbling is just insane. And we'll just hit it with our pastrami rub. Not going too heavy, but we do want a nice coat. And after 7 long days, it is finally time to get them on the grill. Green chicken and pastrami picanha. We got the picanha. This thing looks absolutely unreal, and we'll go for a slice. This thing is unbelievably juicy, and you can see how there's that nice pink cured color over most of it, but there is that one area right under the fat cap that's a bit gray, which tells us that perhaps that cure was unable to fully penetrate due to that fat cap, but even still, it looks phenomenal. Another interesting note is that this was cooked to exactly 130 Fahrenheit, so medium rare, but it still looks very similar to traditional pastrami, which is brisket cooked to well over 200 Fahrenheit. Let's move on to that chicken. And it is finally time to slice into this abomination of a chicken. I genuinely have no idea if the inside's gonna be white, blue, green, or red from the cure. There's only one way to find out. I mean, this here is one funky looking chicken breast. When I pull the skin up, you can see we have that very artificial looking green, bluish color. And on the other side, it's actually mostly white, like a traditional chicken breast. Very moist still, but surprisingly not very green and also not very red. It'll be interesting to see if that cure flavor actually penetrated deeply, but I figure it must have, given that it's cured for literally 7 days. Guess we gotta check on that jerky. And next up, our beef jerky is ready. Moving on, pastrami pork belly hit 155 Fahrenheit, and that is looking gorgeous. And we'll take some slices. And as you can see, it's really taken on a nice pink color after that 7-day cure. I have a feeling this is gonna taste amazing. Moving on. And our salmon is finally done. This took about 5 hours at a low temp of 160 Fahrenheit on the grill until it reached an internal temp of 130 Fahrenheit. And I have to say, it is looking unbelievable. And it is finally time for the taste test. Well guys, it has been 7 long days, but we finally made it. Let's start over here with the classic brisket Reuben. This might be the greatest sandwich of all time. It's perfect. Got a little crunch from the sauerkraut. That meat is perfectly salted. I don't know how anything is gonna beat this. Next up, the pastrami pork belly BLT. That is juicy. This is a hot start so far, people. Wow. That right there is the perfectly assembled BLT, but I have to say, it just tastes like regular bacon. Next up, pastrami picanha steak and cheese. Wow. Paga, if you're watching this, 1, I'm sorry. 2, you gotta try this. Wow. So interesting to eat medium rare pastrami. That is super tender, great flavor, but is it better than regular picanha? That one's debatable. Pastrami jerky. I was not expecting this to be good. Perfectly tender, a little processed tasting, like it kind of tastes like Jack Link's. But for the first go, that's pretty good. Next up, our green chicken Reuben. I just hope this doesn't kill me. Wow. That's pretty good for some green chicken. You know, part of me was expecting that to be way too salty and like cured tasting, but honestly, it just tastes like regular deli chicken. It's actually phenomenal. And last but not least, our pastrami salmon bagel. This is an all-time combination. Oh my God. And impeccable timing on the tibby. Anytime there's fish out, you know tibby's showing up. This is incredible. Is it any different than normal hot smoked salmon? It is slightly more juicy, but very similar, and I'm just happy it's not too salty. But at the end of the day, which of these sandwiches came out on top? Have to say it is the original Reuben. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Though, each of these blew me away. Thank you all so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to check out maxjerky.com. As I mentioned, it is the best way to support the channel. Hope you love it, and I'll see you next time.